have the distinct pleasure to introduce a good friend of mine, as well as a business partner. Today, I'm going to bring up the president of TJ Corporate Credit, Mr. Brent Barnhart, who's going to share the insight with you that he's learned throughout all his years of business. So let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Brent Barnhart to the stage. Guys, thank you.
I'm usually really interactive, and I've only spoken a few times while people are eating, so I'm going to wait till you get food right in your mouth, and then I'm going to come ask you a question. So, like Earl said, I've owned several businesses, built them from the ground up. I'm going to tell you about my most recent one. It was a trucking company. I operated out of 4 states. I had over 126 trucks, $6 million a year. Do you think I had a problem getting access to funding? I see yeses. Why is that the case? My personal credit, what'd you say?
Just starting up.
No, that was a 15-year-old company doing $6 million a year. I paid all my bills on time. There's a big problem with that. I want to share that problem with you. That company that paid its bills all on time only had a credit limit recommendation of $7,600. Why is that the case? Everything's on personal credit. When you personally sign for your business, 95% of the time, that's not ever going to report on the business side. So I'll tell you guys, the month of lockdown, when we all had to be locked down, my company blew up. It got really big that month. My personal credit was ran 42 times to buy trucks. That's a lot. What do you think my credit did? It tumbled. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about, I forgot my clicker, so I got to come up here. Why do we incorporate? Anybody? There's 3 reasons. Separate your personal business assets, right? What's another one? What'd you say?
Personal liability.
Personal liability, that's the same, kind of. Taxes, that's a good one, I like that one. And to look legit in the eyes of the world, right? You gotta have a tax ID number. So when we go to the bank and the bank says, sign here and personally guarantee, are we separating our personal assets? No, we're not. So what we need to do is figure out a way past that. Who knows the types of credit? I'm gonna find somebody that's putting 3 numbers. I'm coming down. Types of credit.
Me?
Yeah.
Business,
Business.
personal, credit, credit cards.
Nope. Okay, you got 2 of them. You did good. That's most people are telling me Dun & Bradstreet. No, so it's personal credit, business credit. What's business credit? You and your business, right? Corporate credit, where Wall Street closed. That's what I'm going to talk about. Getting funding without a personal guarantee. So back to corporate credit. Going out and buying vehicles, getting lines of credit, growing and scaling your business the right way without your personal credit being involved. Business credit bureaus. I already said one. Who knows the 3 business credit bureaus? You're not allowed to talk. Experian Business, Equifax Business, and Dun & Bradstreet. That's personal. Experian Business separate than personal, Equifax Business separate than personal, and Dun & Bradstreet. Did you know that if you as a business owner start your business today, well, I'll tell you right now, Dun & Bradstreet's going to blow your email up and try to sell you something. But nobody calls you from Experian or Equifax. Did you know they existed? Nobody did. I actually had a fuel card in my trucking company that I paid $2.5 million every single year to, and that card's one of my vendors. It reports. But I didn't get credit for it because my credit profile on Experian was created by a bank. It wasn't created by me. I usually show it in my presentation. It had a Florida address. I live in Tulsa. That's where I was based at. I never even had an operation in Florida. I did business with a bank in Florida, and they looked up I was a FedEx ground operator. They looked up a FedEx terminal near and put that as my address. So when they looked at my business, they go, I don't have a credit profile, so they didn't report. What would that have done for my business? $2.5 million by demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. I would have had not $7,600, If I demonstrated $2.5 million, I should have $2.5 million on it, right? So why is it so powerful? Anybody? Why is corporate credit so powerful other than the separation of personal assets? I told you, you can't talk. I've met with her a couple of times, so she doesn't get to talk. So it's powerful because it's 10 to 50 times what you can get personally. And the more you use, the more they want to give you. So think about you go get a personal credit card, let's say it's got a $20,000 limit, you max it out, your credit goes down. With a corporate card, if you max it out, it keeps building your credit as long as you're making those payments, as you're demonstrating your ability to borrow and pay. All right? So we got to do things in the right order, in the right way. This is actually one of our clients. Our platform's helped over 45,000 small businesses just like your guys's. This client is a trucking company out of Austin, Texas. She was spending right around $60,000 every single month on business credit cards, fuel cards, stuff like that. Why is it only a $1,000 recommendation? Because everything she was using was part of the 95% that do not report. So imagine this. You're 18 years old, you go get your very first credit card. Why did you get that credit card? Anybody? What if 95% of them didn't report? Do you know if you're building credit? No. That's how corporate credit, business credit works. 95% do not report. I'll give you 3 examples. And I keep waiting for a cease and desist letter from them. These big ones are going on YouTube. American Express Business does not report. Everybody has that. Most people do. Capital One Spark doesn't report. Nope. Wells Fargo's business credit card doesn't report. So those 3 cards, usually when I'm standing in a room full of business owners, I can see the disgust on their face. I have a gentleman that actually was on a call with yesterday that started a business 3 months ago and it's blown up. He was in Connecticut. And he was on a speakerphone with one of my reps in Connecticut. And he said, I have a Home Depot card. Home Depot reports. And he said, I spend $30,000 every month and I pay it off every month. I was like, all right, let me look at your credit profile. He's a 3-month-old company. He never registered with the bureau. He's not getting credit for that. He was so mad. I said, it's easy. We'll fix it. And he's coming on board with us. So God do everything, like I said, in that right way. So after we start working with her, how are we doing? See, it goes up to $6,900, $15,600, $65,600. Who would be happy with $65,600 on their EIN right now today? All right, that's good. So we took her same everyday expenses that she was already spending money on and put them in a tool that reports. She got her a credit card, business credit card that reports, a fuel card that reports. And I'll tell you how we know that here in just a few minutes, but how are we doing now? How long do you think that would take a business to go from $1,000 to $724,000? Years? Usually somebody will always say 2 months. And I'm like, I'm not a magician, right? There it is, 2 weeks. No, so we actually take a business from 0 credit to that top tier of credit in 12 months. She did it in 10. And you can see it says approved without any personal guarantee or even a credit check. And I will tell you guys, you heard Earl say I had a $50 million company, I had a $6 million company. I've had companies that failed, I've had companies that made me money, companies that didn't make me money. I have more corporate credit right now with a company, and I want to ask you guys, what do you think the revenue is for a company that I own has a $50,000 credit recommendation right now? Revenue, what do you guys think my revenue is? Anybody? Somebody said something. Not Melissa, she can't talk either.
$1 million.
$1 million? What if I told you it doesn't even make money? I use my everyday grocery store, gas station, on business credit cards. I paid for it personally, so I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm simply using a tool. And I'm building that credit profile so I can go buy real estate. And that company, by the way, was started. I always tell people I didn't do this I did this by accident. It's also for my daughter's birthday in 2023, March 27, 2023. I drive a Ram TRX that's in that company name. All because I have a demonstrated ability to borrow and pay reflected on those 3 business credit bureaus. First time ever in my entire entrepreneurial life was about 3 or 4 months ago. I got a corporate card. You know how awesome it is to go out on a website and type in your business information and not put your social in there, and then get a $20,000 card or a $10,000 card. That is powerful stuff right there, guys. And my company is separated completely from me personally. So we always thought, you know, it's about the revenue, it's about the P&L, it's about the size of the company, right? People say all the time, oh, I'm just a little company. You're going to say my company, no income, has corporate credit, so it's not about the revenue, it's not about the P&L, the size of the company. This is one of my customers out of Detroit, Michigan. He's a $2.5 million company. He spends $100K every month on a business credit card. What do you guys think his credit and recommendation is going to be? Million? What do you think if you're demonstrating borrow and pay 1.2 a year, you would have $1 million, but 10,600. That was an Amex card, by the way. This gentleman, when I told him that, he goes, or I'll call Amex and get him to switch me to a corporate card. And I started laughing at him because Amex actually reports the corporate card. They're going to welcome you with open arms when you get there, but they're not going to help you. So he calls him up. I started laughing at him on the phone. He said that. I said, you call me after that conversation because I got a private banker and everything. I said, all right. He calls me back and goes, yeah, they told me to go somewhere else. I said, I told you. You got to have, I know exactly what you have to have that Amex corporate card. And so he's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm switching all my fuel cards and everything tomorrow. So he's switching everything so he can get back to that, build that credit on the company so this company is separate. So let's talk about this one. This company's doing just under $400,000. Based on that last one, what would we say the recommendation be on this company?
10,000.
10,000? I told you it's all about your demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. 60% of revenue. This company has stuff reflected on the credit, all 3 credit bureaus. It's demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. And funny enough, these 2 companies I just showed you are owned by the same guy. So, how you do it? You may know? Not you. Hire me, get them. We have what we call it's a 7-step process. The very first step in the process is making sure the business is credible. Did you know there are 100? There used to be 120. When I started doing the corporate credit stuff that I found out 2 years ago, it was 120. It was 150 now. 150 things a bank will look at to determine if they want to do business with you. And if that doesn't line up, they won't even talk to you. In fact, you'll get automatically flagged by the way. I'll give you 3 or 4 examples. You have to have a website. My company doesn't do anything as a website. You have to have a website. If they can't Google you and find you, you're out the door. You have to have your email at that domain name. Just think about large corporation. Does Walmart have that Gmail, Hotmail? I run across people's stuff, sbcglobal.net, you know? I'm like, that ain't gonna work. You gotta have a corporate or a domain email. Who in here remembers 411? Dial 411. You know, it's always another joke. If I'm in a room full of a bunch of young people, I say, that's when this old people had to dial on the phone this way to get information on business. That's still a thing, and you have to have your business phone number registered with it. If it's not there, they'll decline you. And funny enough, when I had my $6 million trucking company, every single time I applied for a loan for a truck, they said, what's your corporation's phone number? And I said, I live in the 21st century, it's my cell phone. But now, my company didn't do anything, pays $10 a month to have an app on my phone that's a corporate phone number that's registered with 411. So, let's do one more thing. What else do I want to tell you guys? Your address. My $6 million trucking company had a suite in Tulsa. I had my home address. My father-in-law was my business partner for a while. His address was all listed on it. I never knew where my mail was going to come. And I thought I made it big time when I could pay for a post office box. Post office box get automatically declined. If your address is different on any separate platform, the IRS, the state, where you do business, where you, when you apply for credit, decline. So what we want to do is we want to make sure all those 150 items are lined up so that when the bank looks at your company, they want to open the cover and see what's inside. That is the biggest piece. Second step is getting registered with those three bureaus. Like you heard me say earlier, it doesn't happen automatically. And I'll always tell people this too. You can spend 2 seconds on Dun & Bradstreet's website and they will try to sell you for the next 3 years something. I run across people all the time paying Dun & Bradstreet money. In fact, when I had a $50 million excavation company back in the early 2000s, oil and gas shut down in 08, as most of us know. I was actually contracted for an oil and gas company out of Oklahoma City here. And we went back to doing public utilities. We got to be bonded for those. I was 26, 27 years old, and I went to get bonded. They said, you need a Dun & Bradstreet number. A what? A Dun & Bradstreet number. And so I picked up the phone, called Dun & Bradstreet, and I told them, I said, I need to have an 80-plus score. And they said, tell us about your business. They wanted to know my revenues, all my stuff. $1,200 a month, and we'll give it to you. I paid them, so I get bonded for those jobs. I had no idea I was supposed to be building credit. I thought it was just something I had to do. I thought that was for the big boys. I'm paying $1,200 a month. The second I stop paying them, I have no more credit. So you got to go out and get registered with those and make sure the address lines up like everything else. So then we start building the credit. We have tier 1 vendors. Tier 1 vendors, there's 4 different tiers of corporate credit. Each tier is 0 to 100. So what you do is you start out in tier 1. And I'll tell you one thing. I work with businesses from 0 income to $850 million income. And one thing they all have in common is step 1 is always off. And so when they come to tier 1 vendors, there's a lot of things in tier 1 that seem like something for a startup. But you got to crawl before you walk, right? So they have to bite the bullet and spend the money in places they don't really want to. Store accounts, Uline, Granger, places like that. Business credit cards. I actually put a new business credit card in tier 1 right now. That's a really good one. So all of our vendors, major financial institutions, banks, have to do 2 things. We will not work with them. They have to tell us, number 1, who they report to. There's that question everybody wants to know. Who reports? These people have to tell us. The second thing they have to tell us, what is their approval criteria? What does it take for your company to get approved with their institution? Now, you go to your bank and say, hey, I want a line of credit. What are they going to say? What's your FICO, P&L, all that stuff? What's your, they're going to know everything. They're not going to say, here's what we need from you. This is what you have to qualify for a loan here. They're going to say apply. And then they're going to check your personal credit. They're going to check it. Someone will check your business credit. We know it before you apply. That's how we can do this so quickly. People all the time ask me, well, why would they give you that information? They won't give it to me. We have 45,000 people. It's free advertising. Bank of Oklahoma is one of our vendors. They won't go down to PG, by the way, but they are one of our vendors in the stair-step process. And then it's a rinse and repeat. We're going to monitor the credit for you as you go through it. Actually, we will pull people's credit for you. So people that do contractors, for instance, I love when I sit with contractors. They love this. If you're a contractor and you're getting ready to go work for a bigger contractor, and they've got a good reputation in town, and you want to work for them, they say we're going to put you on net 30 or net 60 days, and you're a small guy, you can't go very far. We'll pull their credit. Now, you heard me say earlier, less than 5% report. Guess how many report if you do something negative? All of them. So if I pull their credit report for you and it's all red, maybe you go, well, we're going to do 7-day terms where I'm not working for you. Business credit, by the way, does not affect it to be pulled. It's public information. Anybody can pull anybody's at any point in time. It just costs money. And then, like I said, it's a rinse and repeat. And you jump into tier 2 vendors, tier 3 vendors, and then the ultimate destination where you actually have corporate credit and you can go out and get corporate vendors. Any questions so far? I'm doing a fantastic job? Yeah. All right. So this is it's always about your demonstrated ability to borrow and pay. Reflected on those 3 business credit bureaus. If you don't have it, you're not going to get the corporate credit. If you don't start it today, you're going to be right where you are, your personal credit in a year. Okay? So the question really is, does your company stand out? Does your company stand out when you go to the bank? Does it stand out when they look at your company and they're going, we want to do business with this guy? Or are they going, this is a mess, right? So this is our program. Our program is it's a coach. You get coached. After a year of us coaching, you know how to do this. After a year of coaching, you should be able to stand up here and do this presentation for me, and I'll send it home. Just send people to it. 5 years access to our platform. Actually, that is a lifetime access to our platform. Once you have all log into our platform, you get it. We are the only company in the whole United States that have a payroll company that will report your payroll as an expense. You heard me say earlier, the more you borrow and pay, the more you show on the credit reports, the more access to capital you have. So we went and met with a payroll company, actually a gentleman out of Oklahoma City here, one of the largest payroll companies in this country, and they now report. So we have payroll. I had $80,000 a week. I did my own payroll. I would have gladly paid somebody to do my payroll if I knew it was going to help me build credit. We have a cash flow mapping software that will, it's a $3,600 a year subscription. We give it to every single one of our clients for free. We'll give you 2 business valuations in that first year. Right when you come in, know what your business is worth, and then you start doing the cash flow mapping, and now you're working on your budget. And at the end of the year, we'll do another evaluation and see how your business has grown. Okay? We have 3 different levels of people come in at it. But the next ones are we do sales director training, 6 one-hour meetings, marketing strategy meetings, 6 one-hour meetings, and then an automation strategy session. We actually only have that as one, but I think we could probably do 5 or 6 on that too. And I just threw them on the bus because we didn't even talk about that. Any questions at all so far? I'm near the end. Thank you. Oh, I do have something else. I want to thank Darren and Sudra for inviting us, number one. And they also twisted my arm on something. I'm going to, anybody that wants to schedule some time with myself, Melissa over here in the pink jacket, we will pull your credit for you and show it to you and analyze it with you. Okay? Costs me money every time, it costs me $50 every time, but I'll do it for every single person. All right?